Good morning, students. In this class, we will going to study of sources. Before going to the sources, we will study about the what is history. Dear student, all the students you are know the Herodotus is called as the father of history. History is a systematic study of the past events. History is written on the basis of sources, collection of source. There is no source, no history. Yes, what is the meaning of sources? Yes, what is the meaning of source? Source, which is the we can call as the evidence or proof. For written for the history, we need any of the proof regarding about it the history. And for the example, uh, first of first of all, we will going to the sources. See here, the sources are the basic materials necessary for the construction of the history. Sources can, yes, sources for the construction of the history we need of the sources. For example, agriculture tool, fort, coins, inscription, and temples. Yes, we can see there are the old temples is there. For example, Babri Masjid. Yes, Babri Masjid. At the time of Babur, the masjid was built. There are the many of the other buildings like the temple. There are the many of the old temples. There are the many of the old fort. Yes, fort. When we are the watching of this the fort, masjid, and other the agriculture tool, etc., we know about this the sources. For example, there are the first of all we are using of the silver coin, gold coin at the time of the Mughals empire or other empire. Yes, after that we are getting of this the sources. For example, now we are using of this the coin. They are written on this the 2020. After that, when we are watching of this 2020, we will know about that this coin was using in the 2020. Yes, understand. After the sources, the sources there are classified into two groups. The first one is the literary sources and second one is the archaeological sources. Yes, what is the meaning of literary? Literary means was the written means जो लिखना होता है is called as the written. By the hand we are the writing is called as the literary sources. And now we will study about the literary sources. The literary means the writing sources. They also divided into the two groups. The first one written literature and second one is the oral literature. Yes, what is written literature? In the written literature, there are the two types of the written literature. First one, native literature. Second one, foreign literature. The first one, the native. Native means we can call as the Bhatkal is our native city. Yes, native, नज़दीक जहाँ पे हम रहते हैं, हमारा गाँव या हमारा मुल्क, native. Yes, in that first one, the written literature. Written means writing literature. Written literature is the main source of literary sources. For the writing, the written literature is the main source. See here, written by the hand on the palms, leaves, bark, trees. Yes, the before the pupil there are the no book or no pages. At a time they were the writing on the palms. Palms means पत्ते, जो पत्ते वगैरह रहते थे, palms, leaves and bark, जो दरख्त होता था, दरख्त का जो छिलका कहते, उस पर क्या करते थे, लिखते थे. For that time they are the writing on the palms. For example, they are the writing in the palms, पत्ते वगैरह पर क्या करते थे, वो लिखते थे. And after that what we done, later record on the book or paper are collect as the literary sources. After that we are the copy. There are the copy in the books and other. There are the literary sources, book and paper. We are the start the writing of this the sources. Yes, in the sources there are the primary and secondary sources. Remember it. The primary sources which are the we are writing is called as the first one, the primary sources. After that we are the copying. Copying is called as the secondary sources. First one was the writing. Your first one was the writing is called as the primary sources. After that, they are copying or xerox or other thing. They are called the secondary sources. The yes, native literature. What's the meaning of native literature? Yes, because of this, the native literature, we are getting the information about our the history. The literature written on the native writers is known as the native literature. There are the literature is the native writer. Native writers means which are the our Indian writer is called Indian writer. They are the start the writing is called as the native literature. They wrote the native language literary work. They are the writing on the native literature like the Sanskrit. Yes, this is the Sanskrit is the very old language. We are the yes, now also we are the using, but many of the people they are the using of the Sanskrit language. And Prakrit, Kannada in our Karnataka state we are the using of this the Kannada language. And after that the Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, Marathi you are already know in the Maharashtra we are using of this the Marathi language. And Kashmiri, the Kashmiri people we are using of the Kashmiri, Gujarati, Odia and many other native language are the sources. Yes, in that native writing, for example, who was the for a one person who was the living in the Karnataka, he was the writing on the Kannada language. For example, and on another person who was the living in the Maharashtra, he was writing in the Marathi. In the Gujarat, they are writing on the Gujarati. Yes, after that we are the collecting of the all the data. After that, collecting the all the data, we can get about the history. Many of the people they are living in the other language. Some people they are written in the Kannada language, Hindi language, Urdu and English. All the language they are the written. After that we are the getting of this the literature. We can write on the history. For example, there are the many of the three book I have given the many of the important book. The Kautilya's book Arthashastra. Yes, he was the Kautilya. Kautilya is the Indian writer. Yes, he was the Indian writer. He wrote the one book Arthashastra. Yes, Arthashastra. After that, when he was the written of the Arthashastra, we are getting of the history about this our India. And second one, King Halas. The King Halas was the written on book. He was the Ghatas Patasati and Vishaka Datta Mudra Rakshatas. Yes, the work in the social, religious, economic, culture and political life of the people. Indeed, the history they are wrote of the social. The social means how they are living in the society. How they are living in the society. And religious. Religious means religion. There are the many of the religions we are in India. They are living for Hindu, Muslim, all the religions together living in our India. And the economic they are the in the economically they are good or not good. And the culture, how the culture and political life of this the people. After that was the getting of the information we are getting of this the native literature. Yes, understand? After that, what is the foreign literature? What is the meaning of foreign? Many of the times you are listening this word foreign. He was living in the foreign. वो foreign के अंदर रहता है, foreign से आया है. Foreign means out of country. India से बाहर. Out of country we can also call as the foreign. Out of India. For example, America is there, Pakistan and Saudi Arabia, Muscat, Oman. There are the foreign country. See here, many of the foreigners who visited India as the traveler. Many of the traveler, yes, many of the traveler they are the traveling from the one country to another country. Yes, travelers and the businessmen, official, etc. They were the recorded of the observation and experience the work and they considered as the foreign literature. Yes, when they are the foreigner came to the India, what they are doing? They are the writing of the history. They are the writing of the history. Based on the writing we are getting of the history. For example, there was the Fahian, Huang Seng. There are the Chinese traveler who came from China to India. After when they came to the India, they were the written on this history. What is the basis of the experience? The many of the people there are the writing on the diary. Diary also is there. Yes. All you know what is a diary? In a diary, the daily observation we are the writing on this diary. Like this, they are the observation was the Fahian, Huang Singh. They came at the time of the Chandragupta. Yes, Chandragupta and Harshavardhana, they are the king. At the time they came and they wrote about this the history with the help of this the Indica's book, the Megatanas, which was the Indica's book. When at the 4 BC he was the wrote and at the time of the Chandragupta. Yes, Chandragupta king. At the time he were the come at. Yes, the Megatanas, which was the book which we will know about, is the history of the Chandragupta. Yes, for the Indian history we get the information from the foreign writer. And the Fahian, he wrote the book the Gukuki at the time of the Chandragupta. Yes, at the time of the king of Chandragupta, he came to the India and he was the wrote the observation. And the Huang Singh, he was the famous traveler. And Siyuki, yes, Siyuki, he wrote the Siyuki. And the Harshavardhanas, yes, at the time of the Harshavardhanas, he write to the one book which was name of the Siyuki. And he also came to the India and he was the admission in the whereas the Madras University. And he was studied in India. And yes, there are the three are the important books. There are the many books they are written, but there are 3 books which are the getting the information about our the Indian history. The work in the contemporary social, political, economic and cultural administration aspect. Yes, administration at the time of the king, and the political, economical, culture, what is the culture, all the aspects they are the written on this. These are the book. After that we are getting of this history of this our India. And yes, oral literature. Oral, what is the meaning of oral? Yes, oral literature means the folk story, folk song, a folk legend. Yes, folk, we are the folk story. Folk story में एक जो बात कहते हैं उससे क्या कहते हैं, एक बात दूसरे बात को सुनाना. For example, many of the people, there are the we can see at a many 40 to 50 years people before, there are the many of the not a graduate or they are not educated. There are the they don't know how to write or other thing. They are the folk story. Folk story means they are story they are saying, the past story they are saying. For example, पहले भटकल ऐसा था, भटकल वैसा हुआ. For other etc. They are the force by this, and the other pass one form to person to another person. The word mouth, ये क्या है, जबान से क्या करते हैं, एक क्या करते हैं, one generation to the another generation, एक generation को क्या करते हैं, वो बोल कर कहते हैं, because they don't know the writing. They don't know the writing. For that purpose they are using of the folk story, यानी जो जबान से कहते हैं. And song one generation to another generation. Yes, you know about is the sources. For the history we need of the sources. After the sources we can write of the history. For any of the case, for example, police they are using of the any of the case, they also the evidence. With the help of evidence they know about this the what is the case. Like this the history also they need of the evidence. With the help of the evidence they are know of this the